Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
I tried to fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Welcome back. This is a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. I am Mike.
And I'm Rusty.
Rusty, we are in season 2, episode 8.
Yep, episode 8, The Son That Got Away.
November 23rd, 1997.
Yeah. A good coming of age story.
Yeah, it really is a good coming of age story.
Yeah.
This is one I remembered fondly, but I thought I remembered it in a different season for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's a lot of man versus himself in here. Yeah, I thought this was in a later season too.
Yeah,
I didn't realize this one was season 2. I thought this one was like later on in 3 or 4.
Yeah. Okay, so this one is Bobby Heavy.
Yeah,
right?
really Bobby Heavy. Well, I think just the group Heavy, Bobby, Con, and Joseph.
Joseph, yeah.
A lot of blatant jokes about Joseph's origin and stuff. A lot of really out there
it's like
stuff. The most out there episode when it comes to talking about it that we've seen yet.
Yeah, sure.
We've seen, little hints here and there, but this is like I guess this is the point where we know for definite. Like we can know for definite by just looking at them, but this is where it's first mentioned by almost everybody.
It's very much like a Stand By Me or something. It's kind of a coming of age, like you said.
Yeah.
Kids on a railroad track want to see a dead body, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
So we start off at Tom Landry Middle School, which is just the best name for a middle school as far as I'm concerned. Yeah,
and then we get this is the introduction to Eugene Grandy is the dude's name, the teacher's name.
That's what I was going to ask you. That's the music teacher's name?
The music teacher's name is Eugene Grandy. The great thing about the music teacher is he's in 4 episodes.
Okay.
But it's John Ritter.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's John Ritter.
Oh my goodness. No, I did not know that.
Yeah, and which was around the 8th season because he voiced because like I said, he did 4 episodes. One of them was around the 8th season, and he passed away in 2003 around that season. Yeah. And then the last episode that actually aired was in 2004. So they had already had one in the can or whatever, and then they ended up releasing it. It was called Stressed for Success for anybody for trivia or whatever.
So this is 97. So when he passed away, he was doing that show like 10 Simple Rules to Date My Teenage Daughter or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called, something along those lines.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
And it was
well, that solidifies it
Peg
in my mind
Bundy.
as like how yeah. And who was the
I can't remember her
is
name.
it the girl from Big Bang? Or is it a different one?
Oh, Cuoco, however it is. I think it is her, yeah.
Maybe it is.
Yeah, it is. I think
somebody's screaming at us.
Yeah, so Eugene Grandy was actually played by John Ritter, and then after he passed, it was played by a guy named David Herman. So I don't know who David Herman is. I didn't look him up. But.
Okay. So we start off in music class here at Tom Landry Middle School, and they are singing From Sea to Shine. They're finishing that up.
Yeah.
And Miss Sousa Nusaphone, she decides to sing a little bit extra.
Yeah.
She and so tell me the music teacher's name again.
Oh, Eugene, quote unquote, Gene Grandy.
Mr. Grandy shouts at Miss Susanu's phone and says, "Please now settle, Mr. Hill. We're gonna sing My Bonnie," and so they start singing "My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean." But Bobby decides to change.
My Connie is a Laotian.
Yeah, my Connie is a Laotian.
My
My
Connie
Connie lives next door to me. Yeah. And then I have to go take a pee.
And I had to go take a pee.
Yeah, Mr. Grandy is very upset. He stops that and tells them that he's already told them several times, Bobby and Connie. It's the third time this week. Yep. He's suffered through everything from old man liver
to the smell of nose of Texas.
Texas.
Well, you know what's funny about that? Another bit of trivia. So John Ritter is the son of Tex Ritter.
Is he? Oh, see, I never made that connection in my head.
So Tex Ritter, for those of you who don't know, who people who weren't born in the last 70 years.
I feel like that was a dig somehow. But I don't know.
No, it wasn't a dig.
Okay.
It was. I know who Tex Ritter is, so I mean, I guess it's digging it myself. So Tex Ritter is a pioneer in early country music.
Yeah.
And he would have sang songs like "Old Man River" or "The Yellow Rose of Texas"
because they were a big deal around
They were
here,
standards. Yeah, so he was a huge deal for country and western music. Yeah, he's up there with like Hank Williams as far as like influence and stuff, and some of them really big guys like Tom T. Hall and stuff like that around that era.
Hall.
Yeah.
So Mr. All I can think of is Mr. Ritter now.
Yeah, Eugene Grandy.
He decides that now it's time to involve their parents. And so the next thing we get is Hank and Con pulling up outside in the parking lot because they've been summoned by the school to take care of their kids. Have you ever been part of one of those parent-teacher conferences like that?
Yeah, I've been a part of one of them before. Yeah.
Was it because a kid was in trouble, or was it?
Well, it was because the teacher. I don't want to blame it all on the teacher because my son did play his part.
Sure.
But the teacher was young and she was new, and she didn't really know how to. They put her with the gifted kids, and you as a teacher know that the gifted kids are usually the ones that are bouncing off the walls.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So my son would bounce off the walls, and the way she would pacify the situation is just giving him the tablet and letting him do whatever he wants on his own.
Yeah.
And whenever she told me she was doing that, we had the parent-teacher conference, and she told me at the parent-teacher conference that's how she was handling the situation.
Right.
I said, and then how can you get mad that he's getting riled up with you when all you're doing is just giving him the tablet?
Well, as someone who used to teach, I can tell you that that's because she probably had 30 other kids, and they all have their individual behavior plans.
Yeah.
And you had to, So
it's a big deal.
She was like, your kid is one that I can control. I just give him this, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
So Hank asks Con, hey, what are you doing here? Because he's surprised to see him. And Con says that they have framed Con Jr., and he's there to grease some palms. And he says, Hank, you're here to read the gas meter, right? That's your job.
Yeah, that's a jab.
Hank's like, no, I sell propane and propane accessories. Bobby got in trouble too. I had to take off work.
Why? Where your wife? She's surrogate mother today.
Surrogate mother today. Said,
which is funny. He called her a surrogate mother when she's a substitute teacher. Yeah.
So we go into the class, or we go into the school, and they are part of this parent-teacher meeting now. And he's asking Bobby, what's the idea of acting up in class? And of course, Mr. Grandy says, we call it acting out, Mr. Hill. It pushes every button in Hank.
I really like John Ritter's voice.
Oh,
like
sure.
when he does his character. It reminds me, because John Ritter did the voice for Clifford the Big Red Dog. He did the TV show, the kids' TV show. He played Clifford.
I didn't know that.
And that's what it reminds me of. He almost sounds like Clifford.
I learned so much doing this show.
Yeah. Now,
nice.
John Ritter, I learned a lot about John Ritter.
Yeah.
I knew he did the show, but I looked up a little bit about him. And it's like he was involved in a lot of different stuff.
Oh, yeah, he was versatile. He was great in Sling Blade. You remember in Sling Blade?
Oh, he was in Sling Blade. He was the friend.
He's the guy with the weird haircut.
Yeah, he was the guy that worked at the store or whatever.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, that was good. That's a really good
it's
movie.
a great movie, yeah.
That's a great movie.
Biscuit.
Ain't got no gas in it.
Baskets and mustard.
Yeah.
So Bobby tells Hank that he's just doing a song parody, like Weird Al Yankovic. And this is the weirdest thing to me.
This line
I don't
this
really
is funny.
understand.
I don't understand
this.
it, but it's funny. I don't know why.
Hank's like Bobby. Al Yankovic is what he calls him, not Yankovic. He calls him Yankovic. Blew his brains out in the late 80s after people stopped buying his records. He's not worth getting in trouble over.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know where he got that.
I don't either. That's
feels
weird.
to me like the kid blowing his head off with the Pop Rocks
the commercial
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like that. And then Con mentions to Con Jr. that Bobby's dragging him down like
a
chicken fat anchor. Yeah, I don't understand what that is
That's a
either.
fishing term, so you would use chicken fat as
On the
your
anchor?
That would be your anchor.
Oh.
So I
Okay.
guess that's like a Southeast Asian thing.
Huh. Okay. Well, the music teacher gets very upset. He says, "Time out. It's all knitting together." I can see that Bobby and Connie's disruptive behavior stem from bad parental imaging at home, and that's a real problem for Hank. He's asking about whether it's his fault, and then the teacher says, "I'm not going to play your blame game, Mr. Hill. Your son mocked a beautiful Scottish folk song. We owe it to ourselves to find out why." It's just the stupidest argument I've ever heard.
It is.
And so Con, of course, has to chime in. And he says, "Yeah, he makes a good point. He says you're a bad father." Hank does not like that. But
I really like John Ritter's passive how he's speaking.
Oh,
to
he's
him.
very
Yeah.
passive aggressive. Yeah. No, you're not bad dads. You just have bad dad habits.
Bad dad habits.
Gentlemen, let's try an active listening exercise. And you know how much Hank loves this kind of stuff. Con, I want you to tell Hank something you like about him. And Hank actively listens to the compliment. Bobby, Connie, watch and learn.
Yeah, it's your boy's fault we're here. He bad crowd. You punish him. You don't worry about Bobby. You just punish Colin Jr.
It's the silence that kills me, right?
Yeah.
Before that happens, and Con just can't control himself. It's your fault.
It's your fault.
And then Hank's like, "Don't worry about Bobby. You just punish Con Jr. She's the mastermind behind all this." And he says, "Of course, there will be punishment." And then, damn right, there will be punishment. And so they kind of take off, and they're left to their own devices to punish their kids.
Yeah.
Now we hear from Dale, of course. Dale has to chime in on this kind of stuff, and he says to Hank, and this is later on at Hank's house.
Yeah.
He says, "Joseph said Bobby's in the doghouse. How you gonna punish him, Hank?" And he says, "Well, sir, that boy's gonna clean my rain gutters." Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Bill, of course, a little glimpse into Bill's childhood and his idiosyncrasies and issues at this point. He says, "Well, whatever works for you. I believe a child's benefit more from a psychological approach." Is when that's Dale.
Yeah,
saying
Dale.
that he needs to.
I need to correct Joseph, I just tell him he's adopted. Yeah, what the hell?
Which is nuts.
Is
and
really
then Bill,
nuts, especially for the situation.
and then we get Bill's intro where
Bill's
he's, my
weird.
dad used to punish me by telling me I was a girl. He used to make me wear dresses, pretty dresses.
Which kind of later on, whenever he goes nuts over Lenore again and he wears a dress, it kind of a foreshadowing of that episode.
So,
which is odd. Like that is some deeply disturbing.
It is pretty disturbing. Yeah.
Repressed memory for sure. You should talk to somebody about that.
So Hank sees Con punishing Con Jr. by making her mow the yard, and this pretty much upsets Hank.
Mowing the lawn is a privilege, not a punishment.
That's right.
Putting the fear of God in Con Jr. She learned what it like to be you.
And so
and this comment right here is so funny where Hank tells him, he goes, it's that kind of permissive parenting that forfeited your country to the communists.
So next we get Bobby up on top trying to clean the rain gutters out.
And there's some
and
little
some
birds. Yeah, little nest.
And of course Bobby gets sidetracked with the little baby birds. "Baby birds, where's your mommy?" And then the birds come after him.
Yeah,
because
blue
he's messing
jays.
with the babies.
Yeah, he's getting eaten up by a blue jay.
And so Hank and Peggy are inside. And of course, Hank's comment is, "That's a roof, not American Bandstand," which is so freaking out of touch, right?
It is. Well, it's funny too. And then all the noise that he's making, then she says, "Hank, let him dance. He's happy." Like that's just a weird thing to say too. Like let him dance.
Let him dance. He's
on
happy.
the roof. No, like he needs to get off the roof before he starts damaging the roof.
So next thing we see is Bobby and Con Jr. meeting up in the side yard there. And she says hi, and his first thing is, a bird pecked my head.
Yeah, bird pegged my head. Yeah.
So they start talking about how parents are such a drag, and Bobby says they're always treating us like kids. We're not children. We're preteens. Damn it.
Let's get out of this dump.
What I love is
and how he hung on damn it.
I love how he hangs on damn it. Yeah, because that's such a bad thing
damn
to say.
It. Yeah, like
damn it.
He's not sure if he was going to say it or not.
Yeah. And so Con Jr. says, let's get out of here. Let's do something fun. They're tired of being punished. And Bobby's like, yeah, well, as long as we're back for supper, because his mom's fixing pork pockets.
Pork pockets.
I don't know what the hell a pork pocket is, but it sounds disgusting.
Well, I know in jail, the word pork pocket means
that's a whole different thing.
A sewed-in pocket on your clothes.
That is a
smuggle
whole
food out.
different thing. Yeah. And so she says, it's a deal. Bobby's like, let's boogie. And then Bobby, he just doesn't get it. Like,
no, he doesn't.
Con Jr. just wants to hang out with him, and I think she likes him. But he can't see that. Yeah, for the most part. And so he's going to stop and get Joseph. She tells him how she doesn't like Joseph because he threw a dodgeball at me once. And Bobby's like, well, I'm sure he had a good reason. I'm not sure what the good reason would be to throw a dodgeball at somebody other than playing dodgeball.
Yeah.
And so Joseph is outside, and Joseph, in his always introspective way, says, you want to do something? Bobby's like, or Con says, no, he already has plans with me because she does not want to hang out with Joseph.
No, she really doesn't.
And Joseph's like, and of course, Bobby being clueless here, he's just like, yeah, I want to come. And Joseph launches into what they could possibly do. He said they could go to the crosswalk and press the buttons and run away. And, of course, Bobby thinks that's very cool. And Con Jr. is like, Bobby and I don't like to do that. So she's now speaking for Bobby as kind of a couple almost, right? And Joseph is arguing with her. Well, Bobby and I do like to do that. And then her idea of fun would be we could go to the library and talk. Which Joseph is like, yeah, why don't we just go back to school and wait for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Which he's got kind of a point as a kid.
Yeah, he does.
And then Bobby, being the one that's going to calm everything down, he's like, hey, come on, guys. Don't make this a contest for my friendship. Now, I say we go
to so humble of him. Calm down, guys.
I say we go to Electric Town and watch TV.
And they both said no. Yeah.
Do you know what Electric Town is?
I have no clue. Oh, electronics store, right?
So it was a part of Montgomery Ward's, the department store. It was. I'm assuming this is what he's referring to. He may be referring to a fictional store, but in Montgomery Ward's, they had a thing called Electric Avenue. Yeah, just like the song, going down Electric Avenue. But that's where all the TVs were. That's where the Laserdisc players were, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Laserdisc players.
That's where the Laserdisc players were. So Joseph has a brilliant idea. He says,
they kind of hold up still.
Laserdisc?
Yeah, they kind of hold up.
Yeah, I've talked
it's
about
not much.
before.
Yeah, it's not much better than a VHS, but it's still like they still hold up pretty good.
Well, the only thing with Laserdisc is you had to flip them, like right in the middle of the movie sometimes.
Or if you have a high-end device.
Yeah, it would flip it. It would have lasers on both sides. Oh, really?
So the laser ran on a track and then went around like that.
Is there still a gap like when it flips?
Yeah, it'll stop for a second and then flip and then automatically start up.
It's amazing. And so Joseph has a great idea that they could go to the caves.
Yeah.
And he says it's kind of like sneaking into an R-rated movie. And Con is pretty flabbergasted by the fact that he's been to an R-rated movie. But I love what Joseph says. He says, yeah, but the only person naked was Harvey Keitel. So,
who's that?
He's an actor. Okay. And I'm assuming he's talking about the movie The Piano, which was out at that time, which is famous for Harvey Keitel's Ding Dong showing.
Ah, okay.
So there you go.
Yeah, that's probably what he was...
Yeah. And so...
okay. I know who he is now.
Yeah. And Con finally agrees to it. And Joseph is like, well, it's pretty dark. Let's get some butane lighters. I love the fact that he calls it a butane lighter, not just a lighter.
Yeah, just a lighter. My dad says butane's a bastard gas.
And so...
It's just weird, the stuff that they're getting. They're getting scented candles. This one smells like leather pants. I got tube chips and spray cheese. What did Bobby say? Yeah. And then Bobby said, I got glow wands and pantyhose for the lady. Like, what the hell?
Lady.
Like, what is she going to do with pantyhose?
So, next thing you see Hank back at the house, and he's asking Boomhauer what he's doing. He says he's getting a dang old tan, man. We just cleaned your gutters for you. And Hank is very confused because that was Bobby's punishment. Bill says, maybe you call it punishment. I call it punishment. That's right.
Yeah.
And so he wants to know where Bobby is. He shouts down to, or he wants to know where Bobby is, and then you hear Con shouting for Con Jr., and then Hank is convinced that Con has convinced Bobby again and led him astray. And Con's like, your skinhead gone too?
Yeah.
So he's calling Bobby a skinhead. And so Hank says,
which is wild. I don't know why. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know who wrote that line.
It's such weird comments in this one.
It is a weird comment. I'm not sure who wrote that one.
Hank says when he does find those kids, they're going to be in real trouble. And then in comes Dale. He's looking for Joseph. And the only reason he wants Joseph is because he's not back with his pick 6 numbers, and he's starting to worry.
I can't win it if I'm not in it.
He can't win it if he's not in it.
Oh, speaking of lotteries,
yeah.
Have you seen that movie with Bryan Cranston?
No, I haven't watched that yet.
The one with the lottery girl?
With
it's
what's
really
her name?
good.
Is it really?
Yeah,
where
I can't
he figures
remember
out the
her name.
scheme. Yeah,
yeah, where he figures out the math or whatever on it. It's
Yeah.
like a true story about a guy who was like an analyst for Kellogg's.
Yeah.
And he was able to like analyze the world and stuff. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. I showed that to my wife.
It's a feel good film.
I showed it to my wife the
You don't
other
feel
day.
bad because they're not criminals. They're not doing anything criminal, so it's like a really feel good movie.
I asked my wife about it the other day. I was like, "Would you want to watch that?" She goes, "No, you don't watch that." So I guess I have to watch it on my own. I'll be watching that about 3 a.m. tonight.
There you go.
So next thing we see is they have found the entrance to the caves. And all of them shout the caves like it's some big thing that's been. And then we meet Randy.
Randy, we've met him before.
Have we met Randy before?
Yeah, he was on the Wimitanya episode. He was the kid in the back seat.
That's right.
My dad does this. My dad, that guy.
So Randy says, "Hey, you shouldn't go in there."
Yeah.
And then Joseph, of course, he knows how Randy is. Just play with your toy, Randy. And then even Con Jr., she's like, "Later, loser."
Yeah.
Which Randy must be a real pain in the ass.
Yep.
So Bobby is like, wait a minute, maybe Randy's right. And then Con Jr. is like,
I thought this was real sweet too, how she did it, because she wasn't mean to him.
she didn't want to make him feel bad.
Yeah.
She wanted to make Randy feel bad, but she said, if you're not, if you're scared, you can stay out of here. You can pretend it's a headquarters. And then Randy pipes up again, and he goes, you want to watch me fly my plane? And Bobby's like, wait for me. That's enough.
Wait for me. I'm out. Yeah, he couldn't handle any more Randy.
And then Randy, he's like the old prospector or the guy who tells the people not to go to the haunted mansion or something. That's right.
Yeah.
You'll be sorry. All right. And then that is a commercial break. And we are going to take one too. And we'll be right back.
From the host of the popular podcast, The Only One in the Room, Stash by Laura Cathcart Robbins is a propulsive and vivid memoir about the journey to sobriety and self-love amidst addiction, privilege, racism, and self-sabotage. Best-selling author Holly Whitaker calls it an irresistibly delicious story, and MacArthur Foundation fellow and best-selling author Kiese Lehman says Stash is emotionally riveting. Buy Stash by Laura Cathcart Robbins now, wherever books are sold.
Looking to start a business? You'll need a registered agent to receive legal notices and documents on your behalf. Look no further than Universal Registered Agents. Our team of professionals will ensure you never miss an important document, and we can even help you form your business with services like entity formation and document filing. Plus, we'll help you switch to our service for a lower cost and pay the change fees. Trust Universal Registered Agents to help your business succeed. Contact us today to learn more.
As if the McCrispy couldn't get any better, Bacon and Ranch just entered the chat. The Bacon Ranch McCrispy, available at participating McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It is summertime here in Central Texas, and I don't know about you, but I am already sweating.
Oh, yeah. I've got swamp ass and ball sweat more than I know what to do with. And, if it wasn't for Ballsy and their products, I'm sure right now I'd be able to smell my own balls. So I'm really, thankful for their products. Yeah.
Your cleanliness is a reflection of you, especially below the belt. And, I think about cleanliness a lot because, like, I've got a beard. I've had one for a long time. You've got one. But I never really think about taking care of my down under as I do my face.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't think that a lot of people, think about keeping their balls clean and fresh.
No.
I think that's an endemic in males is keeping our groin area clean.
Yeah, because I mean, it's no secret that balls are prone to odor, sweat, irritation. So you need something like Ballsy.
Yeah, so guys, you need to upgrade your balls game with Ballsy. They've got quality, long-lasting products formulated to keep you fresh, comfortable, and confident. And for me, I tried out the Ballsy trimmer, the beard trimmer part of it. I shaved my mustache with it.
That's the cool thing. It comes with both heads.
It comes with both heads.
So it's not like you have to use the same head on your face as you do your intimate regions.
Yeah, your intimate regions.
Yeah.
So they got your sack covered with a ball wash, sack spray, and more. And I'll attest to the ball wash. My balls have never smelled cleaner and felt fresher ever in the entirety of my life. So
yeah, I took a small sample of friends and family, and they said my balls smelled wonderful.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's good. My dog told me.
It was uncomfortable after that.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah. So, when you go to Ballsy, you can get different things like you can take a quiz to see where to start. They have a sack pack. The sack pack has all of it. It's the ultimate
trifecta.
It is the ultimate trifecta of products specially formulated to take care of your most prized possessions, which should be your balls.
And the big thing is it is made right here in the U.S. of A.
In the U.S. of A. That's right. And it always will be.
Always will be.
Or so tell the people at Ballsy.
Or so says Ballsy.
So
and
says
they
Ballsy.
have over 200,000 currently satisfied customers with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you've got to give it a try.
Yeah.
There's no risks involved.
Yeah.
And the only thing that could happen out of this is clean, fresh balls.
That's what I'm saying, right? So what you need to do is go to ballwash.com, put in promo code KOTH, as in King of the Hill. So ballwash.com, promo code KOTH, and you'll receive 20% off your order of $50 or more. That's 20% off when you go to ballwash.com and put in promo code KOTH. So says Ballsy.
Balls.
Hey, Rusty.
Hey, Mike.
Your dog deserves tasty, healthy, real food, not kibble. Don't give him kibble.
No, I like to give my dog food that's created by a vet that exceeds all industry standards.
There you
Fresh
go.
dog food, stable life. A stable shelf life and affordable. This food here, Sundays for Dogs, Mike. It's
Sundays for Dogs.
It's 40% less expensive than
Holy
leading fresh
crud.
brands.
Yeah, and it's like you say, it's created by a vet. It's shelf stable, which I don't get those dog foods that are in the freezer and refrigerator and stuff. That just seems like a lot. I've got a friend of mine who makes his own cat food, which is weird. But
it's especially weird when you could get it from Sundays for Dogs.
That's what I'm saying, right? I mean, he's got cats, so he's weird anyway. But
well, he could feed it Sundays for Dogs.
Feed his cats to Sundays for Dogs?
It's created by a vet. It's fresh dog food. It's customized for dog size, breed, and activity level. So all he has to do is take a quick quiz and see if it's right for his pup.
Yeah, you just go to sundaysfordogs.com. You take the quiz. Best part about all this, well, let me tell you about some of the benefits first. You're going to get increased excitement from your dog about eating, which my dogs are not super excited about eating because I buy them junk, but not anymore. You'll get better stool, which, if your dogs stay outside all day, that's a big deal. You'll get more energy out of your dogs, improve weight, softer coat, just a better life for your dogs if you feed them this
my
stuff.
dog loves it. It's real easy for her to eat. She's an older dog, but it's really easy for her to eat. And
she's 104.
She's 104, yes. Right. And the fact
not
that
in
it's
dog years,
not in dog years, in human years. Yeah, she's extremely, extremely old, and I think it's due to eating Sundays for Dogs.
Sure.
Which the quality ingredients are really good for her health. The crap they put in, a lot of the store brand stuff is just junk for them. Yeah. And a lot of filler and stuff like that.
It's like feeding your kid Doritos all day.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like a bag of Doritos.
That kid's going to stop up at some point.
And Sundays for Dogs is like a bag of carrots with...
It is. It's like carrots and real meat and things
just
like
good
that.
Stuff. Yeah.
If you go to sundaysfordogs.com and take that quiz and figure out the right plan for your pup, the best part about that is you can get 35% off your first order if you use the code KOTH, as in King of the Hill, KOTH, and you'll get 35% off your order.
Wow, 35%.
That's a big
good.
deal.
That
You know,
is a big deal.
most of these things you hear is 10%. But for this one, you go to sundaysfordogs.com, enter KOTH as the code, and get 35% off.
Yeah, that's great.
Woof.
Watch us fight all through the night, deep in the heart of
Okay, so we are back, and
Wimatanya.
we've got Wimatanya. You. We have the guys out looking for the kids because it seems like every third or fifth episode the kids are lost somewhere, and everybody's worried about them. They are worried about finding the kids, and Con's like, first we look for Con Jr. at Contemporary Art Museum. Oh, sorry,
Arlen doesn't have one. Yeah, like petty. Like, why are you
So petty.
making fun of the city just because they don't have an art museum?
Yeah, and Hank is like, let's get one thing straight. You may be driving, but I'm leading this posse, and if forced, I will commandeer the vehicle.
And then it switches to
and switches to Peggy and Min.
Yeah, Min.
And she's like, do you see him? And then Min is very worried about Peggy's erratic driving.
Yeah, this whole conversation exchange. She goes, please take pedal for metal. They're probably at the mall. She goes, my heart is racing here, Min. When my heart races, my Buick follows.
My Buick
like, what the
follows,
hell?
Yeah. And so Min tells her to calm down. Peggy Hill, look at my hand. He's still as a Monet water lily, which is a weird thing to say.
That is
but
another weird
hey,
thing
whatever.
to say. Yeah.
And then Peggy's like, well, being calm comes natural to you Buddhists. So what if Connie's run away? She'll just come back as a grasshopper or a seahorse. I'm sorry, Min. I'm just a little on edge. I just think that exchange is very funny.
Yeah, that was good.
And then we get the kids in the cave. They have come across something called the Boneyard.
It's written in ancient English.
Yeah, she says it's written in ancient English. Bobby, of course, who has really not come into his own yet, asks what the Boneyard is. And Joseph, of course, he is the most worldly of them all.
It's either the place where old people go to die or young people go to make out. What if you're wrong and it's where young people go to die and old people go to make out?
Like it makes a difference.
Yeah.
And so now we're back to them searching for the kids, and then they are outside of a sheet music store.
And he goes, he points, he goes, go there. And then Hank said, well, no American child would run away from a sheet music store. Like, run away to a sheet music store.
He says they do if they want to hide from a hillbilly parent. Last place you look, hillbilly. And so then we get Peggy coming back to the Hill house because they have searched everywhere. They can't find the kids. Luann is on the couch. And I've got a question for you. Luann says, I thought you and Min were looking for Bobby and Connie. And Peggy's like, Min decided she would rather look for them in a taxi. I am just such a jumble. She says, Aunt Peggy, why don't you sit down with the TV for a minute and clear your head? She says, okay, but just for a minute. She says, guess what? Monsignor Martinez rented a sports car in the name of those little babies.
And those little babies. So this is the first.
That's what I was going to ask. Is this the first time we see Monsignor Martinez?
So this is the first we see Monsignor Martinez. But it is not the last. So he pops up.
Oh, God, no.
He pops up in 4 episodes in season 2, 3 episodes in season 6, and 1 episode in season 8. And I got a little bit of lore for it.
I just love those kind of things. It's like Chuck Mangione being used, right?
Yeah, and it's almost kind of like in The Simpsons, the Ren and Stimpy. Or not Ren and Stimpy. Why did I say Ren and Stimpy?
Well,
Itchy and Scratchy. It's the Itchy and Scratchy stuff. It's like that.
We used to have the Ren and Stimpy dolls on the wall. I think that's
probably
what you were looking at.
Yeah. Oh, where'd they go?
Yeah, they're not here anymore.
Oh, okay.
We classed up the joint. And so now we are. You were going to give me some stuff about
some
Monsignor
lore.
Martinez.
Okay, so Monsignor Martinez was a TV show that ran from 1997 to 2009.
Wait, it was a real thing?
It was called, no, it wasn't. It's
okay.
like, this is the lore inside the show.
Okay.
So it's called The Days and Nights of Monsignor Martinez in English.
Days and Nights.
And it said, Los Días y las Noches de Monsignor Martinez. So that's how they would say it. But his catchphrase, of course, was Vaya con Dios. But the cool thing about it was there's actually a pilot episode of a live action spinoff.
No.
That they were going to do for
really?
that. Yeah.
Oh my God. That would have been fantastic.
It never aired, and it was long considered lost. But apparently, a private collector had a VHS copy of it.
Oh my God.
And there's a very detailed history where it deconstructs everything that's there.
Oh my God, I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Oh, my
I'll get you
God.
that link.
Hey, Mike Judge, come on. Make that thing.
He can now. He's got his own stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, make that
I'm
thing,
sure he
man.
could have.
That'd be fantastic. I want to see a Monsignor Martinez live action show.
Yeah, I would like to see that too. Just a dude that's a priest, but he kind of almost reminds me of like the Boondock Saints or something.
Oh, yeah.
But like
yeah.
a Spanish version.
Almost a telenovela version of Boondock Saints, right?
Yeah.
So we're back at the caves with the kids. Bobby doesn't think he can make it. And Con Jr., she's trying to let him know that, yeah, you can make it. And Joseph offers his shirt. He says, go ahead, grab my shirt. And then we did it. We're in the boneyard.
In the boneyard.
And then they start seeing all of the spray painting on the walls and stuff. Con Jr. asks who's Frampton because it says Frampton lives.
Yeah.
And so that is Peter Frampton, I'm assuming, is who they're referring to.
I think so.
Joseph finds a Playboy. He shouts score. Bobby says, great, I haven't seen this one. Like he's seen any.
Like he's
Playboys.
seen any of them, yeah.
And then Con Jr.'s like, oh, I hope there's an article by Norman Mailer.
Yeah.
And so Joseph is like, check this out. Our unabashed dictionary defines heavy petting as when things get out of control at a Weight Watchers meeting. And they start laughing, being Joseph and Con Jr.
Yeah, they look at Bobby.
Bobby does not
I don't
get
even
it.
get it.
Con Jr. says he doesn't get it. And I love the quote from Bobby who says, I'm starting to get things.
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
I got it now. Okay.
There we go. Yeah, you could almost hear it when it clicked.
Yeah.
So
The lights are on. No one's home.
Now we're back with them searching for the kids. And Con Jr. says, I thought the kids would be here. Sure as the world. Oh, no. I'm sorry. That is Hank. And I'm sorry, I misread that. I knew it was Hank when he said, I'll be dipped at the end. He said, I thought the kids would be here. Sure as the word, I'll be dipped. And then he says, hey, Randy, have you seen Bobby and Joseph and that Con Jr.? And Randy's like, maybe not. What are you guys going to do? He said, we're going to tan their hides. And that's enough for Randy. He's like, oh,
that's
well,
enough.
then I'll tell you.
Yeah, he's a snitch. He's ready to tell.
They're in
He's
the
a teller.
caves. I did the right thing. I told them not to go.
Yeah, a big teller.
And then, of course, Randy's dad. Do we have any idea what Randy's dad's name is? Besides Randy's dad?
Eugene.
Is it?
I think so.
Oh,
Was that his
man.
dad's name, Eugene?
That fits.
I'm pretty sure that's his dad's name.
And so he
I can find that out
exclaims,
real
you heard
fast.
him, Hank. We have no legal responsibility.
Yeah, we have no legal
And
responsibility.
so Hank, of course, he knows what the caves are. He's just, oh, my God, they're in the caves.
No, his
And
dad's name is Eustace.
Eustace, that's easy.
Useless Eustace.
There it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they've said that before. And then Con wants to know what's going on with the caves. He says, "What's the problem? That's good news. We know where there are." And then, of course, we get we get Dale with no Con. Heap bad news.
Yeah.
I don't understand where
Yeah, I
that
don't get
comes
that. I don't
from,
get
but
what that is.
okay. And then Hank it lets them know that the caves are where Arlen teenagers go to make
Whoopee.
Yeah. So we're back in the caves, and Joseph says, check it out. He has found a brassiere, or a bra for the common man. And Bobby says it must have fallen off some woman.
Yeah. And it's just a really, really odd exchange. You can tell that they don't really, nobody knows
They
what the
have
hell's
no
going
idea
on.
what this is. Yeah. And then Joseph is like, here, Connie, you could use this. She's like, thanks.
And then Bobby picks up a can of Skull and says, hey, Connie, I found you this. Skull. And then he goes, I wrote you a song. And he goes, I'm a skull man. Did it do.
Yeah, Connie is not, Con
Not
Jr. is
impressed.
not impressed at all. And then the lights go out. Joseph says, dang. And Con Jr. says, that's our last candle. It's very dark. I'm scared. Joseph says, me too. And then Bobby says, me three. Wait, we've got glow ones. He fires one up and he sees them holding hands. Bobby is very, very disappointed at this point.
Extremely disappointed.
Yeah. Bobby is one of those kids who has a crush but doesn't know how to act on it. You know, I mean, how old is he at this point?
Only like between 10 and 12. I think he's 12.
Yeah, he's right on the cusp
Yeah.
of knowing what's going on.
He's probably like halfway through puberty.
He's starting to get things.
He's probably got like started to go through like the physical part of puberty, but not the mental part.
So we're back at the adults trying to find the kids, and Dale spots their bikes and says they're inside. All right. Oh, God, I can't see. We're all going to die. And then Hank has to let him know that, Dale, you still got your sunglasses on.
Yeah, you got your sunglasses on, Dale. I have my sunglasses on too. Story behind that is I left my glasses in the car when I came inside, and by the time I sat down, I was like, damn, it's dark in here. And then I pulled my glasses forward, and I was like, oh, it's because I got my sunglasses on still.
Yeah, so we are in a new studio here, and it is darker.
Oh,
in the
beautiful.
studio
Hey, it's
than it used
nice.
to
I
be.
like the ambiance.
It's a
you've got
nice
set.
aesthetic, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Maybe
it's very
get like some lights on him.
yeah,
and
it's
that'd
very
would
calming.
be great. Yeah,
we
that
have
is
a
calming.
woolly mammoth on the wall.
The Waco woolly mammoth.
Waco woolly mammoth. And so
painted by yours truly, Mike.
yeah, I'm trying. Then Hank says, just to kind of get Dale out of the picture, he says, "I tell you what, Dale, why don't you go tell Peggy and Min we're here so they don't worry." And then this is funny coming from Dale. He says, "I noticed my wife's name was not among those mentioned, and am I to assume Nancy should continue worrying?" And Con has had enough. He's just like, "You go now."
Yeah.
So we see Dale come up to Peggy and Min, and he's like, "Mayday, mayday! The kids are in the cave." And then, of course, that sends Peggy off the side of the building.
Yeah, this is a part right here that I thought was funny because she says that is where half of Arlen's unplayed pregnancies again, and then the camera hits over to Nancy and John Redcorn, and they both look at each other real sheepishly.
Yeah. She said Hank and Con, Dale tells them that Hank and Con have gone in to pry them apart.
Yeah, like they're excessive with this crap.
And Peggy's like, "Dear Lord, let them find those kids before I'm in-laws with men." So now
it's crazy though. They're 12, and their parents are thinking that they're in there. That's like the first thing they're thinking about.
They're doing whoopee. So we're back in the cave with the kids, and Min's a little worried now. She's maybe we should go back. Joseph is, yeah, I guess. And then they can't find their way out. They feel like they're lost, and so now we got lost kids in the boneyard.
Lost kids in the boneyard.
It's a big pause between lost kids in the boneyard. So now we get the Con and Hank inside looking for the kids, and Hank is like, he doesn't remember which way to go.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything.
Yeah, he said, "It's been a while, and I need to get my bearings." And he said, Con says, "While you get your bearings, my child's bearing your child's child." And so they finally hopefully find a way in. Then we go back to Dale. He says, "Oh no, I'm sorry." We go back to Bobby.
Yeah, and he's smacking on the food.
Bobby is eating all of the food.
And he said, "I can't stop.
Like it's the end
out of my
the
control."
friggin'. Yeah, it's like it's the end of the friggin' world. And so Joseph is like, "Way to go, we're out of food." And he says, "I'm sorry when I'm upset.
I get hungry."
That's right. And then Con fires back, "We're all upset, Bobby." And then comes Bobby's big soliloquy here where he's like, "But you're upset together,
great, yeah.
and I'm upset all by myself. I see things clearly now. I'm going to grow up without anyone to love and die friendless and alone like Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah.
I won't stand in your way. When the time comes, I want you to eat me." Which is a weird thing to say,
It
right?
is a weird thing to say.
You
This
can
isn't Lost.
Eat me, and they've been in there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and this isn't Lost. You
No.
know? Like, I'm sure that they just walk in one direction long enough.
That's what I'm saying, right? I mean, it's not like they're in a hedge maze or
Yeah.
anything. And so, but this touches Min deeply. I mean, Con Jr. deeply. It touches her deeply. She says, "You would do that for us?" Bobby's like, "Of course I would. You're my best friends. My
best
body
friend.
is my gift
Yeah,
to
my
you."
body is my gift to you. He's such a weirdo. He says some of the weirdest stuff.
And Joseph, being the voice of reason here,
Yeah,
which
it wouldn't
is weird.
have to be if you would have just left some of those chips.
Yeah, but
But that's how drastic it is to 12 years old. Imagine you're 12 years old, you're going
It's true.
spelunking in a cave, and all you had was a bag of chips and a bottle of water between 2 people, 3 people, and then that's all you had.
So
Real dramatic.
Yeah, it is super dramatic. But Con Jr. is like, "Bobby, it's so kind and brave. Thank you."
Which is also dramatic. It's a real dramatic scene.
Yeah. And then Bobby's like, "I'm doing it for your children too. We have to think of them." It's just so stupid.
It's out of there.
Yeah, it's pretty
Like
rough.
his body's going to keep him alive long enough to matter.
So we go back to all the adults outside, and Nancy pipes up, says, "I'm starting to worry. Hank and Con should have found him by now." And then
I'm sure they're safe and not exploring each other's bodies.
not exploring each other's bodies. Even if they are, there's nothing that lovers could do that could possibly take this long. Am I right? And of course, that's Dale.
Oh, this whole part right here is funny. I love this part. So Dale goes,
he's like, what could lovers do that could possibly take that long?
this long? And then he
John
goes, am I right?
Redcorn.
And then John Redcorn goes, yes, if you only consider your own needs. And then Nancy goes, well, oh gosh, I think I need a beer. And then she says, honey, you want a beer? Both
of them
Dale
answer
and
yes.
John answered. And then Dale goes, how did he know I wanted a beer?
It's just so clueless. So we are back to Hank and Con trying to go through the caves looking for the kids, and Con says it's too narrow. I must go back. Hank is kind of shoved into a little crevice there. He says, "Come on, shove me, damn it!" And Con falls down. He falls into a bunch of beer cans. Of course, this is where the kids go to drink and apparently explore each other's bodies.
Yeah.
He says, now I'm sticky with beer. This is the worst birthday I've ever had. And this is kind of a touching moment that they share.
It is
here.
just a real quick, brief, just
Yeah,
like
it's super
pinpointed
brief. Yeah, he goes,
moment.
I didn't know it was your birthday. And Con's like, I'm 41. And and then they share like a moment of silence for just a second. And it's pretty touching. Hank's like, I think we're lost. And Con's like, you think so? And then we're back to the Con-Hank dynamic where Hank says, Dale will bring the fire department. They'll find us. And then you get Con with, that's great. All hopes for survival pinned on Dale Gribble. I'm going to die like an English patient girlfriend. Long, painful, boring death. Yeah. And Hank's... Hank, always the voice of reason, says, well, if we're lost, the kids are probably lost too. And then this is another kind of touching moment here. You see the good side of Con. He said, you make me nervous that Joseph with Con Jr., his whole family, like a Tennessee Williams play, which he does have a point there, right?
He does, yeah, absolutely.
And Hank's like, well, Joseph's a good boy. Say, why aren't you nervous about Bobby? He said, until puberty, he do no worse than a hickey. Besides, I know he's a good boy. And that's really kind of touching.
Another little touching
because
moment.
Not but a few minutes ago did he call him a skinhead. And now he's like, I know he's a good boy.
He knows he's a good boy at the end of the day.
And Hank's like, well, I appreciate it, Con, but I tell you what, many a good boy's gone bad in the boneyard, which I would love to have on a shirt.
Good Boys Gone Bad at the Boneyard. That's a great band. It's a band name, not just a shirt. You can have a whole line of merch.
He said, I shouldn't be telling you this, but it's where a lot of us got to second base for the first time.
Boning in the boneyard.
Second base.
Yeah, second base.
Just second. So what is second base to you?
Oh, to me?
Yeah. Is it over or under?
I mean, I guess... I thought first base was over I thought second base was like...
Well, I think first base is just kissing, right?
I think...
second base would be over, but touching, right?
I don't know. I was always trying to slide into home. I was basic. We weren't worried about bases. We were trying to run all the way to the house.
That's funny. And so they talk about Con asking what's second base, and he said, "Well, where I come from, it means well."
This is funny to me how he struggles through he can't even say it at all.
and we're only talking about second base here.
Yeah, we're not talking about a home run.
You see, when two people are attracted to each other, well, your hand and.
It's like he's talking to a 12-year-old.
Yeah, it's like he's turned his chair around and he's a really cool youth pastor or something. He says,
"Yikes, a cool youth pastor." I don't know.
Don't explain a home run. You'll have a heart attack. In Laos, we call it what do you say?
Pass on pate. Pass on pate.
Yeah, and Hank really likes that. He says, "Pass on pate." I like it. It sounds clean.
I don't know. It doesn't sound clean to me.
We need more euphemisms like that in this country. So where did you hit your first pass on pate? He says, man, you're going to have to help me with the name of this city. He says,
let's see.
Lao Pha Brang City?
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah, good
something
luck.
like that. And he
so I looked up pass on pate to find out what it really means. And according to... a Laotian translation thing. It translates to sex cliffs.
Sex cliffs. Sure.
So I guess sex
Another
caves
good band name, Sex Cliffs.
Sex cliffs.
So he tells him about how he had spring break in this town and how wild it was that 2 out of the 3 guys are monks. Try not to get some possum pate there.
Yeah.
So we go back to the kids, and Joseph's like, "Hey, Bobby, that sounds like your dad," because they're overhearing them. They're literally right next to him.
Yeah, they're
in
next
the
to him.
caves. Yeah, and he goes, "That sounds like your dad," and then he says, "That sounds like your dad, Connie." Bobby's
it
like,
can't be. They're not yelling at each other.
Right, right, Con Jr. And then Bobby falls through the hole into the bunch of beer cans. And Dad, Bobby, Con Jr. Hello, Joseph. So that's the funniest part to me is like everybody's glad to see each other. And then there's Joseph, and Hank's like, hello, Joseph. And he's like, hey, Mr. Hill. And they like exchange a handshake. So
yeah, it was an awkward little moment.
Yeah. Then there is Con. Well, now we all together sit back, relax, wait for Dale Gribble to save us.
Yikes! If you're waiting on Dale Gribble to save you,
Boy, you're not kidding,
this is
man.
a desperate situation.
And so Bobby's futzing with the cans over there, and Hank tells him to stop it. It's a desperate situation. Besides, it's littering. And Bobby tells him that it's already been littered. Somebody dropped it from the top up there.
Yeah.
So what they've found now is that there is a hole
There's
up
a hole.
above them.
Yeah.
The entire time they're
They're
down here
a hole
sharing
away.
all this information. There's a hole above them.
They're a hole away.
Yeah. And, of course, Boomhauer is
Hey, hold your fire
at
up
the
there.
top
Where
of
you're
the
doing that
hole.
dangle, talking about that dangle down there in the boneyard. Get down in there. Don't wander around. What's wrong with you, man? And then he yells up. He goes, "Boom, Howard! I can't understand a word you're saying. Must be the echo. Just get the
always a
fire
reason.
department to lower a rope." Yeah, there's always a reason. It's never because he's talking fast.
Hey, Hank, 10-4, go lower that rope.
Yeah, 10-4, dangle, go lower that dangle rope.
So they finally get the kids out, and of course Peggy's one of the first ones there. She calls Bobby her little golden child. And says,
Yeah, it was weird.
okay, Hank, put Bobby's bike in the trunk, buckle him in the back seat facing us so we can both watch him, which is
My mom called me her special boy. That's what she still writes on my cards and stuff. Love to my special boy.
yeah, another band name, Special Boy.
Yeah, special boy.
And so Hank, he says, listen, Peggy, he's not a baby anymore. He's a preteen. And this is the first time I remember Hank referring to him as a preteen, which is a big deal to Bobby. He wants to be a preteen, doesn't want to be a kid.
Yeah.
He said he and Joseph rode their bikes here. They can ride them home. Bobby is like, I think Bobby thought he was going to get his hide tanned,
Yeah, I think so.
I really think he thought he was going to get
Well, that's a
popped pretty
punishment
good.
in itself. I remember one time my dad caught me and my friend smoking cigarettes at the park.
Yeah.
And he made us walk back.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of us
Sure.
riding with it,
Sure.
he made us walk back to think about what the
what you've
potential
done.
damage was.
Sure.
And when I got to the house, the damage was, oh, well, you're 17 and you're this close and I can't really stop you.
Yeah.
And he didn't
Yeah,
really-
I mean, what are you going to
he
do?
didn't really stop me from smoking. He just he was just pissed. He said, if y'all going to smoke cigarettes, don't smoke where people can see it. Because I got a phone call from somebody said they saw you at the park smoking. So somebody in the neighborhood that knew my
Saw you
dad
at the
called
park
my dad.
smoking.
Yeah.
So they are going to take off. Bobby is really nice about it. He says, Connie, do you need a lift? And Joseph's like, yeah, Connie, you want a lift? Which Joseph's just an idiot.
Yeah, he is an idiot. He is a
and
big,
so-
big goof.
Here comes Con. He's like, no, Con Jr., you come with me. We go get ice cream and a tetanus shot, which is probably warranted at this point, I would think.
Yeah.
And so now, last scene of the show, we see the two riding back home.
And they have a little tender moment here
yeah,
where they
it
talk
really is kinda
about,
nice.
he says, well, I think Connie likes you to Joseph. And he goes, nah, she likes you. Joseph knows that she likes Bobby. So he goes, the minute you said we could eat you, she was yours. Well, maybe she likes both of us. And he goes, well, yeah, women have trouble choosing between guys sometimes, which is funny because his mom is that
Yeah.
person.
He says they sometimes like to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah. I hear you.
I
Like he
hear
knows
you.
what the hell
Like he doesn't know what the
I
hell he's
love
talking
that when
about.
they do that. When Bobby does that, Bobby does it a lot. When he doesn't understand something, he's oh well, hell yeah, I hear you. I feel like he gets it from his dad. When his dad is just annoyed with the guys, he just oh yeah, I hear you. Whenever they're talking about something stupid.
And so Bobby changes the subject real quick and says, hey, what were you eating under there? And he goes, underwear. And he goes, you were eating underwear. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just call each other goofs and boxers and briefs and stuff, and they just kind of ride off into
Yeah, it was
the
really funny because they were
moonlight.
mocking each other. I think it was really funny
Yeah.
because I want to hold on just a second. I don't want to say it if it's not true. I think it is though. I think
Boxers
who
or briefs,
does
boxers or
Gribble?
briefs, boxers or briefs.
I can't remember who the voice actor was.
Are you boxers
Joseph.
or briefs?
Oh, it was Brittany Murphy?
Brittany Murphy did Joseph's voice.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, for a
It
while.
was done by Brecken Meyer afterward. Never mind then.
So, are you boxers or briefs?
I'm neither, actually.
Really?
I wear briefs or nothing, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah.
I've been boxers for some time now.
Boxers.
Well,
Since I've used Ballsy, it has freed
That's
me
right,
from having
Ballsy.
to use underwear,
You got
period.
it. That's right. Thank you,
Yeah.
Ballsy.
Well, because
And that's-
underwear for me were always a wicking function when you're sweating, you're sweating your ass off, and with
A wicking function.
Ballsy, you don't have to have a wicking
No,
function because
there's
Ballsy
nothing to
stops
wick.
the sweat.
Sure.
Yeah, and the stank.
Thanks, Ballsy. So we get our credits, and then, of course, the last stinger is Khan just saying, long, painful, boring death.
Long, painful, boring death. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a good episode. It really is.
really
It's
good
a feel-good episode. Again, it's one of those that if you think that this is all right-wing Republican stuff, you're wrong, because it's
It's not.
It's just feel good. It's human.
It's a feel good human thing, and I
Really
think that's
is.
what makes it like a centrist show. That's why it's liked by everybody.
Yeah.
It's just so relatable. Like episodes like this are really relatable for anybody that's went through puberty. Did you have like a honey hole or whatever you call it, like when you were a teenager?
That's a personal question.
Well, I mean, like that's a terrible.
Yeah, we had a creek.
Lookout, a creek.
We had a
Okay.
creek. Yeah, it was a creek down at the end of the road. It's where all the porn was thrown into the creek. We would fish for crawdads.
Fishing for porn.
Yeah, well, you pull the
Creek porn, the good old creek porn.
you pull the creek porn out, and all the pages are stuck together because it's all
Yeah.
been rained on.
Yeah,
but
that's rained on.
Well, man, that was a lot of fun.
It was a good episode. I liked it.
So next week we've got season 2, episode 9, and
That's a good episode, Company Man.
Yeah,
That's a good episode. It gives us a little more insight on that episode into Hank's relationship with Buck Strickland.
yeah.
Kind of get introduced to
I
the
love
Fatherton fuels as well in
Buck
that
is my
same
favorite.
episode.
He's one of my
I like
favorites.
this episode, this next one for sure, because it kind of you get to see a younger Hank at the beginning of his career and
Yeah,
kind of
that's true.
stuff is like a flashback in there with that. I watched that episode about 6 times. With this one, I watched them both, and then I'd go back watch them both, and then watch them both again.
Yeah.
They're really good episodes.
Yeah.
It does a lot of the stuff I liked about this episode because it does a lot of introduction into the relationships between Khan and young Khan Jr. Sorry, Connie,
Yeah.
and her. Well, actually, Khan too. Khan's relationship with Hank, and then
Yeah.
Connie's relationship with Bobby, and Connie's relationship with like their relationships with each other separately, and then their relationships together as a group, kind of thing. So it really introduces that dynamic. I liked it.
Join us again next week,
Yep.
and we'll see you there. If you want to check anything else out that we do, or check out more episodes of this show, you can go to roguemedianetwork.com.
Or you can check out us on the socials, BWAAAKOTH, and that's on just about everywhere.
There you go. All right. Until next week.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Womentanye.
There it is.
There it is.
All right. Great.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.